you show a lot, as I've said before, you show a lot about what you want to do with your lives and your careers by being here on a Saturday morning to learn something. So up on the picture screen, what do we see? You see a guy shooting a horse. Okay, what do you see up at the top of the screen? Okay, what's below that? A nail. So everybody's familiar about how to shoe a horse? Anybody here? I know you are, Darcy. Anybody here ever not seen a horse shoot a horse? How do you say that, Darcy?
Shod. They're
Thank you very
shod.
much. I'm showing. You can see I was raised in Atlanta, went on the farm, so there you go. But the furrier, who is the person who puts on the shoe, is that right, Darcy?
Farrier.
Farrier, knew that. Shods a horse, and they put shoes on a horse so that the horse's hooves won't wear down and the horse can run longer. So why is that important in a scheduling class? Any ideas? I think that's a good concept.
What did you say?
What does that have to do with a scheduling class?
What did Eric say?
He said
Preparing.
preparing. Any other ideas? Preparation, okay. Anything else? Thinking ahead. Now, we've said this before, and I'll say it again. What we're trying to do in all these classes is to teach you a system, to teach you a way about thinking. Okay, so far we've talked about numbers, okay, we've talked about scales and measurements and plans and things of that nature. And we're trying to learn a system that applies to every situation. Now, scheduling is the same thing. Scheduling is not mystical. Scheduling has to have a philosophy. And one of the things that I think is really, really important to remember is that you got to start somewhere to finish somewhere. If you don't know where you're starting, you don't know where you're going to finish. Now, a schedule is nothing more than a start and a finish on either end of the schedule, right? The schedule is everything that goes in between, okay? There are implied schedules, there are written schedules, there are unknown schedules, and so forth. So what we're going to work on today is concepts. Concepts of what makes a good schedule. Excuse me. So, Lisa, would you read that for us?
For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of the shoe, the horse was lost. For want of the horse, the rider was lost. For want of the rider, the battle was lost. For want of the battle, the kingdom was lost, and all from the want of a horseshoe nail.
Okay, now this was a little poem that I had to memorize when I was a kid. Grandfather said, "You got to memorize this." I said, "Okay." So he would make me repeat it over and over and over again. So if we visualize what this poem is saying is that we have a furrier who didn't put enough nails in the shoe, right? And so what happened when the horse, where are you going?
Well, I need to give me a minute, I gotta
Okay.
get this
So-
done for Virginia.
So the point being is that we lose the shoe, because of a nail we lose the shoe off a horse. The horse can't run, so the messenger can't deliver a message. The messenger can't deliver a message, and so the general doesn't get information that he needs. He loses the battle, and then eventually the country is lost. How come? One nail. One nail. Now, who's ever been on a job site where you start an activity and you reach down and you find out you forgot the one thing you needed to do that task? Has that ever happened to anybody here? Okay. Thank God for Home Depot 24 hours a day, right? Okay. But imagine yourself that you are building a job, you are building a job in the middle of the desert and there's no Home Depot. And you reach for that tool and it's not there. What happens to your job? Comes to an absolute stop. Okay. So one of the concepts I want you to think about is that as you prepare schedules and as you plan your work, detail is important. Detail is important. Understanding what you're doing helps you to be prepared to do what you're going to do. Dante, you run around all over the southeastern United States fixing stuff, and you got a truck full of stuff. I bet you don't throw away very much of anything, do you?
Never.
Never. You always, if you find a certain size screw or a certain thing that you need, you got that place in a special spot, so you know right where to go back to, because you know they don't grow on trees, so to speak, okay? So, one of the concepts that I want everybody to pick up on here, what we do in our jobs exists in space and time. We engage in physical activity, we create things, okay? We create things. When we start a concrete pour, we don't have the option of saying Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, we don't have try again like on a video game. Okay, by God, that thing is alive. That concrete is alive, and it is going to do what concrete does. And what does concrete do as time goes along? It gets hard. Okay, and if you don't place it right, finish it right, what do you get? Rework. You get to tear it out. And I can tell you, as hard as it is to pour concrete, it's a hell of a lot harder to remove it. Okay, so bad planning would say, I placed a slab, I screwed up a slab, I removed a slab, and I tried again. Now that is efficiency, right? Hell no, that's terrible efficiency. Okay, that's awful. That is the worst. Okay, so moving along. Come in, come in. Okay, so to put this in academic speak, David, would you read that for us? Up at the top, starting the proverb.
The proverb has come down in many variations of the centuries. It describes a situation in which a failure to anticipate or correct some initially small dysfunction leads by successively more critical stages to an egregious outcome. The Rhine's implied small difference in initial conditions is the lack of a spare horseshoe nail relative to a condition of its availability. At a more literal level, it expresses the importance of military logistics in warfare. Such chains of casualty are perceived only in hindsight. No one ever lamented upon seeing his unshod horse that the kingdom would eventually fall because of it. Related sayings are, a stitch in time saves 9. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. A somewhat similar idea is referred to in the metaphor known as the camel's nose.
Okay, so philosophically, which we drive everything that we do by some philosophy, can be summed up in the 6 P's. And you should write this down. If you don't have paper and a pen, there's some up front. Okay?
If anything runs out up there, let me know and I can go dig more up.